where we will love and be loved. And may the rain always fall soft upon your fields, and the sun pour down like honey where you stand. May the wind be at your back, and the road rise to meet you, and your soul rest at last in the hollow of God's hands. Trouble and sorrow, oh, they cause the curve on your face. Oh, but don't fear tomorrow, no, no, 'cause you will meet it with grace. And may the rain always fall soft upon your fields. May the sun pour down like honey where you stand. May the wind be at your back, the road rise to meet you, and your soul rest at last in the hollow of God's hands. May your friends be as many as the promises that you keep, and may your laughter in heaven may cause the devil to weep, and may the rain always fall soft upon your fields. May the sun pour down like honey where you stand. May the wind be at your back, and the road rise to meet you. May the soul rest at last in the hollow of God's hands.
I'm going to invite Paula to come up. It's kind of a, wasn't what I was thinking, but in the moment, out of that fullness of spirit and life, breathe that into your bodies. Breathe it in and breathe out anything that you need to let go of, and settle into your chairs. And Paula, well, for our next reading.
Holy is this place, by Reverend Maureen Killeran. Blessed is this ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration, and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on, and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds, and in awareness still, we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision where life and world are intertwined, and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy and whole making is this place.
From this place, we hold all the intentions which rest in the silent sanctuary of your heart. We will not light candles this morning, but if you wish to speak aloud, something that is either dancing or pressing upon your chest, you're welcome to speak it out loud before this assembly. Our first thing to hold is the people in the Ukraine who continue to suffer under unspeakable conditions. Our hearts are with them. Thank you, Dennis. I'm going to invite Ron to come up and do our next reading.
From Reverend Dr. Mark Morrison. Ministry takes enormous courage or romantic obliviousness to the repercussions of giving one's soul to the church. Mary Oliver's poem in Blackwater Woods described what is required. To live in this world, you must be able to do three things: to love what is mortal, to hold it against your bones, knowing your own life depends on it, and when the time comes to let it go, to let it go. We love what is mortal. For each individual ministry is mortal. It has its lifespan, a beginning and an end, knowing we will still invest our essence in the community. We treat it not as a job, but as our lives. Then, when the time comes to let it go, we have to let it go. This is the way it must be. Forrest Church writes, "The fact that death is inevitable gives meaning to our love. For the more we love, the more we risk losing." Love's power comes in part from the courage required to give ourselves to that which is not ours to keep. Our spouses, children, parents, dear and cherished friends, and congregations. It takes courage to throw off caution and enter fully into life. The risk of loss is just not great. It is certain. Therefore, it takes courage for us to wholly engage in the life of the community, knowing that what awaits us at the end of our ministry is grief. A grief made deep by comforting familiarity, conflicts weathered, and dreams once shared. Thus ends the reading. However, I want to thank you, Reverend Pam, for making it possible for us to participate with you in this 8-year spiritual quest. What a rewarding and joyful journey of discovery it's been. Thank you.
knew it was going to be a hard one. Had the Kleenex up here all the time, right? There's an essay called Running Through the Thistles where Roy Oswald talks about how hard it is to leave a ministry. And he tells a story about when he used to come home from school, he had to pass this big field and it was full of thistles, and he ran really fast so that, because they were barefoot back then, and so that the fastest you ran, you didn't feel it as much. He said that's how a lot of ministers leave ministry. They just run as fast as they can out the door. And I know why. Because you don't want to linger in all these goodbyes. But he also lists 5 tasks that you should do to try to do it well. And so I've been paying attention to those tasks. One was take control of the situation, which I am under no illusions that I have control, but I tried to at least make a plan. I tried to get my affairs in order, go through all the files that I haven't filed well for 8 years, and finally make them make sense for someone new coming in. One is let go of old grudges. And I can honestly say I don't have one grudge in this congregation. Maybe some of you have grudges against me. I know I haven't done everything right. I've made mistakes, and so I apologize to anyone that I've hurt, anyone that I've let down, anytime I haven't shown up, anytime I haven't done my very best to serve you. And then there was, be honest about why you're leaving, and I've tried to be as transparent as possible about that. Time to take a rest. Karen and I are going to go work in our garden and listen to the trees and figure out what the world is telling us for the next 6 months or so, and then see what comes next. The final one was say thank you and celebrate all the great things we've done together. That one's a lot easier. I can say thank you and thank you and thank you and thank you. We've done amazing things in these past 8 years. I was looking through all of the last 8-year annual ministers' reports to try to just get a sense, and was kind of shocked at all the things I'd forgotten that we'd done. So I wanted to celebrate just a few of them, and one of them, watching Dave stand up and talk today, was when I came in, there were some worship associates that helped me, but Kathy Salzano was basically it. She did everything. And so over the years, we have built a worship associates team that is full of amazing people who have studied and learned and who give wonderful sermons and who can offer you what you need over the next few months. I'm leaving with a totally clear conscience on that regard, because we have some amazing people on that worship team. The next thing was learning about what we're supposed to talk to as a group together. So some of the things are just saying, well, isn't this awesome? Let's celebrate it. Let's pay attention to the beauty in this world. Let's feel it. What's that quote about? You can either celebrate the world or save the world, and it's always a tension between what you're going to do, and I think that's a tension in this church as well. How do we either celebrate what is good and beautiful and true, and how do we notice what is not and decide that we're going to make a difference? And you've walked that walk with me all the way along. When my wife, Reverend Karen Mooney, came with me here in 2014, we had arrived just after Michael Brown had been killed down in St. Louis. And we decided as a congregation to take a really hard look at what is this racism that would cause something so awful to happen. And I have to say that I have grown with you. I came in, yes, somebody, hello. We're busy now, we'll get back to you. That I went through seminary thinking, oh, I get racism, I know what it is, it's bad. And coming in and learning with you has helped me deepen my understanding of how ingrained it is, how the inequality is built into the air we breathe, and how we have to really peel it apart to see it. And you have done that with me. And I'm so grateful for your bravery, so grateful for your perseverance, so grateful that we have kept going through all of that and how far we've come on that journey. Some other things that we did, we put together the church's first mission statement in memory. There was, when I got here, they said, we did have a mission statement, but we weren't allowed to write it down and we weren't allowed to say it out loud. So we have one that we can actually say out loud and see every Sunday. So go. And then we pushed it, a couple years later, we put together another group of people that put together our covenant, which is what we start every Sunday service with, which is a covenant of intention. We fail. I fail all the time. But we have that covenant to call us back and remind us how we are going to be together. One of the biggest things that I can look back for is the Green Home Project. That was a really pretty good thing. That was fun. We gathered together the Green Sanctuary folks and the finance folks and who else? The building folks, and everybody got together and said, okay, we have a leaking roof and we have 60-year-old boilers and we have all these other problems and windows that wind whistles through in the RE building. And we're going to put all those into this thing and call it Green Home. And out of that, we got solar panels, we got an insulated roof, we got those beautiful windows that make the church look so pretty when you come up the street. We got storm windows in this building. We've got the dishwasher so we don't have to have disposables every single time. I think that's all the stuff we did, but it was pretty awesome. The air conditioning. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes, they've got rid of the 60-year-old boilers and have these lovely things that keep us cool and warm. That's pretty awesome. And, there's been failures, of course. I never did get new church chairs in this church. That's for your next minister to struggle with. What are you going to do? But we've covenanted to be together. You covenanted with my wife to be your community minister. And she and I put together, it was ill-fated. It was a work in progress, a trial called Service to Serve. You probably don't remember it because it was only a blip of one spring. And it didn't quite work the way we hoped, but what did come out of that was our amazing prison pen pal project, where we have 18 people in prison being written to by people in this congregation. 18 people who have their own worth and dignity affirmed to them on a regular basis. And in those conversations, that has inspired a whole new level of a project to work on creating parole for our church. And people in this church are working very hard to create parole and elder parole, to get elderly people who are stuck in prison their entire life for something they did when they were 18, trying to get them out. And that's a lot of the work that still goes on that comes from that one project that we tried. Karen has sung to you through the years, and we worked with social justice folks on many different projects. And we did have that one Great British Baking Show knockoff fundraiser that was just way too much fun. Somebody should pick that up, because that was an awful lot of fun to do that. So Karen's going to take a moment to say goodbye a little bit later as well. There's so many other things, so many things that were already here when I got here. The clinic escorts and the animal ministry people who have really, I think they've really moved us. I mean, there was a lot of resistance to even thinking about vegetarianism, and I think all the amazing food they've treated us to have moved us to understanding that maybe a plant-based diet is okay. We could do this. And of course, the amazing Green Sanctuary folks who give us idea after idea after idea how we can lower our carbon footprints. Idea after idea after idea how we can lower our carbon footprints. I know I'm skipping quickly over things, so I'm missing stuff. But I learned from them about native plants, and so I've got a whole native plant garden now that I've planted that I never knew about before I came here. Over the years, we've done some really fun pageants and celebrations. John Cooperrider outdid himself every single year in this sanctuary for, what do we do? We had couple no-rehearse nativity pageants. We had a Hogwarts Christmas. We had 12 Days of Christmas, and we've had 2 Grinchmas pageants, so those were all great. And then all the other amazing things, the nonfiction book club that's kept going, the spiritual book club, the theology on tap, the care shawl, knitting. We still have so many care shawls. So many people in this church have been wrapped with love thanks to that work that they've been done. And then the ongoing youth program that has just been amazing under Pam Fodor, Joe St. Cross, for the years that we worked with you, all the people that stepped up in these past couple years to keep it going. I think it's going to need some help coming out of the pandemic. We've really been dealt a blow, but I know together you guys can pull it back together. And finally, I'm grateful for the Soul Work Initiative that we created in the last year of the pandemic, and how so many of you have stepped up to lead meditations and forest walks and book clubs, and I think there was a spirit and practice class, so many amazing things, the small group ministries. I have been privileged to walk with you during all these amazing things. I had, during times of transition, times of joy. I have weddings that I did here in the church that still make me smile, and memorials that we celebrated together of lives that were well lived and well loved. In the 8 years of my time here, you have been knit into my soul. And the pulling apart caused tearing and real pain. But know the fibers that are left behind will be with me always. And I will never forget you. But we know in life, besides death and taxes, the only thing constant is change. We can never step in the same river twice because we're not the same and the river's not the same. And so we are all flowing forward. And I know that life will bless you abundantly because you are such an awesome group of folks. And that once I've driven off into the sunset, or at least up north to Woodstock, you are still here together, loving each other and supporting each other and showing up when you're needed and doing all those things that make a church as strong and rich and just amazing as the Unitarian Church of Hinsdale is. I am not worried about you. I know you will continue making this little bit of earth in Hinsdale, Illinois, a gentler, kinder, more compassionate, and more just place. And I will be rooting you on. I'm going to pause now for an offering from Jamie, who I will also miss with all my heart. don't know how awesome that is, because I told Karen and Carrie driving in, the only thing I'm missing is a Peter Mayer song, but there wasn't enough room, so thank you. You read my mind. I'd like to invite Bob to come up and Karen to come up, and we're going to do our final ritual of the service. Let's get that. We began our time together with the installation service. It was actually in 2015. It was the spring of my first year. And at that time, we created a covenant together that we made promises of how we would be in relationship. And you said to me that you would speak the truth in freedom and in love, that you would minister to all of us and our families and all our stages. You said you would, on your part, pledge to remember that the work of the church belongs to all of us, and pledge to join me in ministering to the world and sharing our vision of the world. And I responded by saying that I was honored and that I would pledge to serve you with all my heart and mind and soul, to speak the truth in love, to maintain clear vision, listen to wise counsel, exercise the best within myself, and to walk humbly with God and with you. Today, we'll do ritual of releasing those promises. So I've invited Bob and Karen, and I'm going to ask Karen to have a few moments, and she's going to have one thing that you will respond to her with to begin with. Sorry,
Bob. I've been honored to be in this space with you, wrestling with the deepest and most abiding questions of life and justice, and how we pull the arc towards justice within our lives in all ways. I have been honored to share my ministry in the larger world with you, not by myself, but with you over these past 6 years. I relinquish my official connection with this congregation and wish you joy and peace in your time ahead.
Thank you. Thank you
For walking with us as our communities. We accept our responsibility to continue working for justice in the world. We release you from the formal affiliation with us.
For 8 years, you have offered me your free pulpit and the freedom of creativity and worship, gifts for which I have been profoundly grateful. I hereby return the ministry of worship to your able hands. Use it to speak the truth in love to one another and to continue to find reverence and meaning together.
Thank you for your service and our pulpit. We accept its power and freedom for ourselves and release you from your service as worship leader.
For 8 years, you have welcomed me into the transitional moments of your lives, times of sorrow and crisis, and also of great joy. It's been my privilege to care for you in times of need. I now return the ministry of pastoral care to your hands. Use it to comfort, to celebrate the milestones of your lives with compassion.
Thank you for your pastoral care you have offered us. We accept its power of compassion for ourselves and release you from your role as pastoral care.
From my first days with you, you have asked me to lead you in works of justice and compassion, inspiring all of us to build a better world. Using the ministry of your hands. Now use it to take the teachings of Unitarian Universalism beyond our walls into a hurting human family. Wait.
We accept it for ourselves and release you from your service as a leader for peace and justice.
Since my arrival, you've asked me to serve as administrator and professional leader of this congregation. Today, I return the administry of this congregation to you. May you guide yourselves with courage and wisdom into a strong and sure future.
Thank you for your professional leadership. We accept this power of vision and knowledge, and release you from your call as our professional leader.
With loving, the light of our shared ministry will be extinguished today, but our respective ministries will continue separately. Today, I return all the keys that I've been carrying around all this time to all the many doors to Bob Daniel Wayman. I had put something in here for you to say, but I printed the wrong thing. So if you would like to say something, you are welcome in this time. You could have the ad-lib.
I have a whole speech for the celebration as well.
Okay, you can save it for later. With gratitude and love, I release you from our covenant, one to the other. I invite you to go your way in peace and truth and love. There's one more.
With love and gratitude, we release you from our covenant with one another. Go in peace, truth, and love.
And now I'm going to ask Bob to do our extinguishing chalice words.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of its truth, the warmth of this community, nor the fire of our commitment. These we carry in our hearts and share with all the world.
We have one more reading by Anita.
Benediction Words by Katie Gilfin, adapted. The end is the beginning. We call forth the life of our faith by extinguishing our chalice. We have been brought together in a sacred space to reflect where we have been and where we are going. Knowing that this particular flame will intentionally end with our ritual extinguishing, we fear not its end. For we know with brave hearts that from every ending of our lives, we are sent forth to make a new beginning. As you begin anew, Pam, know our hearts are with you. May there be joy and new discoveries and energies in your life. I'm not going to say goodbye. I'm going to say, until we meet again, au revoir. May our love go with you.
Thank you to Julia and our choir you can join in singing with them. The words will be up there. Please rise in spirit or body.
We're going to accompany you, and our Reverend Pam is going to read out
any announcements about what's happening next, because I've been kept in the dark. So we do it. There's seat packets for everybody. What? Let's eat. Let's eat. Yay!